You wouldn't stand like this and expect to be able to balance easily.
But it's one of the most common mistakes I see in the handstand, is people don't know how to manage the pressures in their hands.
But there's a simple drill we can learn to help you manage the pressures in your hands, build endurance in your wrists and shoulders, and learn to balance better in your handstands. In this video, I'm going to break down why you might be struggling to balance in your handstands, how the crow pose can fix it, and how to progress that into actual balance in your handstands. So why might you be struggling with the balance in your handstands? Well, I think people fall into one of two camps when they're learning to handstand. One camp of people have learned to be super tight in their handstand, and so they think that they just have to be tight enough that this alone will hold them upside down in their handstand. And these people don't understand that they actually need to be adjusting the pressures in their hands to stay upright.
And there's another camp of people who understand that they need to adjust, but they're doing it from literally any limb available, including their skull.
In both cases, there's a misunderstanding here. The majority of the balance adjustment in your handstands should be done with your hands. All right, I need my friend for this one. Jen, push me gently.
Oh, gently, I'm guessing.
If I were to push you gently, the first thing that you'll adjust with is just your feet. You're just gonna try to catch yourself with your feet in a small, minor imbalance. If I push a little bit harder, she's gonna adjust with her hips and shoulders because your pelvis and your rib cage are heavy and those give us big levers to adjust our balance from. And if I push Jen relatively hard, she's gonna step or she's gonna flail her arms to try to keep your balance. Do one where you try to really fight falling over and try not to step. There, so now her limbs kind of go with it, trying to save her from falling over. And we do the same thing to different degrees in the handstand. You gotta catch my breath because I did not breathe that whole time. When we're making relatively small adjustments, we want the vast majority of it to be in our hands the same way it would be in our feet if we were slightly imbalancing standing. And the last thing that we don't want to see so much if we're trying to practice handstand, give me a big one, is a step. So to address this, we use the crow pose. Here's how we do the crow pose. You want your hands on the ground in front of you and your fingers quite spread. The next thing I like to see is to pressurize my hands. I'm gonna go spider hands, which to me just means popping up that middle knuckle. So I can see that there's pressure in my fingertips. You can tell because they've kind of turned white, and the pressure is distributed between the palms of my hand and my fingers. Next, we want to make sure that we are pushing hard into the ground. So we are creating protraction, which is this action that I make when my shoulder blades glide around my ribs like that. With my hands planted and my shoulder blades pushed forward, I'm going to lean forward with my elbows on my elbows, or hang on, I'm gonna rest my knees, my knees on my elbows or my triceps and shift forward until my feet leave the ground. And I should be able to hold in my hands at this point and feel that my fingertips are stopping me from going over the top. Now, if you feel unsafe in this position, like you're gonna go splat with your forehead into the floor, you can just grab an ab mat. All right, so I'll get Jen to go into a crow pose, and we're gonna focus on getting a few of those things right. The protraction, so she's gonna make sure she's pushing hard into the ground. Oh yeah, she's got lots of it, nice. Now she added a little bit of spinal flexion there. That's probably gonna disappear as soon as she gets into her hands, or at least it won't be a problem. Cool? And you're rocking forward, and we'll see the change in pressure of her hands go from the outside of her hand and start getting adopted in the fingertips. You can see that her fingertips have gone white here, so we know she's in her hands. Have a rest, that's fine. Cool? Quite often, that is the first time people feel the experience of what it's like to actually be in their hands because you're actually holding your center of mass over the middle of the hands. In a handstand, we will feel very similar hand pressures to what we feel in the good crow pose. In the early days of handstanding, you'll probably suck at doing this at first because there's less familiarity. Ooh, good handstand! There's less familiarity, so under and overbalances will feel bigger and more random. Plus, you don't have the finger strength to fight overbalances. Plus, you don't know how to distribute the pressures in your hands correctly. Holy That's impossible. But a good crow pose can help. You can use crow pose in your training a few different ways. We can use it to learn those hand pressures, we can use it as a primer for your handstand practice, or we can just use it for time to develop the wrist and shoulder endurance in that position. So for that last one, we're just gonna set a timer for 15 to 30 seconds and you're gonna hold the crow pose throughout. And I want you to try to explore different hand pressures during that time. So really think about rocking your weight around and seeing where it feels the most stable. Once you're feeling confident with crow pose, we can start learning to take those same hand pressures upside down. We are now at a little bit of a fork in the road because I treat beginner handstanders different to how I treat more advanced handstanders at this point. For newer handstanders, we're going to move into things like the handstand to establish our positioning upside down, the hollow body to make sure that your lines are tight, and pike positions to help get you upside down in those same shapes. But if you're a little bit further along in your journey, then you can jump straight into float drills like your toe pulls, heel pulls, floats from box to a wall, or floats from box into the wild. These drills can help bridge the gap because it teaches you to bring the hand pressures from the outside of your hand through to the middle and maintain your body line in your handstand hold. If you can do that, you're on your way to balancing on your hands without scuttling around on the floor like you're a crab.
I hope everything we've talked about today helps you with your handstand training.
You can find more drills to unlock your handstand holds and handstand walks using my programs in the Ganbaru app. Or if you're looking for a program for your CrossFit gym, check out my affiliate gymnastics program available here. Happy handstanding and see you in the next video.